Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we will see anatomy of larynx. In that we will see cartilages and membranes of the larynx in detail, and we will discuss about the larynx under following headings. First we will see the definition, extent of the larynx, measurements, the skeleton of larynx, that is cartilages, membranes of the larynx, then laryngeal cavity, muscles, blood supply, nerve supply and upper aspects we will discuss in next video. So, coming to the larynx, what is the larynx? It is an organ of respiration and phonation. It is defined as the musculomembranous tube with a cartilaginous framework. So, it has three structures: muscles, membranes and cartilages, and it is also known as the voice box or the watchdog. Voice box because of the phonation, watchdog because it guards the lower respiratory tract from preventing the entry of the materials other than air. So, it extends from the upper border of epiglottis to the lower border of cricoid cartilage. You can see the pharynx there, naso, oro and laryngopharynx. It lies in front of laryngopharynx and it lies opposite to the C4, C5, C6. It communicates with the pharynx via laryngeal inlet and it communicates below with the trachea. It will continue the trachea at the lower border of cricoid cartilage. You can see there. So, that is the cavity of the larynx. This is the extent of the larynx, what you are seeing here. That is the epiglottis, upper border of epiglottis, and here you can see lower border of cricoid cartilage, and it lies in front of C4, C5, C6 vertebrae. The pharynx was defined as musculomembranous tube, whereas larynx is musculomembranous tube with cartilaginous framework. Coming to the measurements, the vertical diameter is 4.4 centimeter in males, 3.6 in females. Transverse is 4.3, 4.1 in females. Anteroposterior is 3.6 in males, 2.6 in females. And the larynx is shorter in females and children, and it has a skeleton of 9 cartilages. Out of that, 3 are paired, 3 unpaired, and these all cartilages are held by ligaments, muscles, membranes and synovial joints and lined internally by the mucous membrane. You can see the 3 unpaired cartilage here, epiglottis, thyroid and cricoid, above downwards, and in this picture you will see the 3 paired cartilages. You can see the arytenoid, cuneiform and corniculate. Coming to the unpaired cartilage, thyroid, epiglottis and cricoid. Among these, thyroid and cricoid are hyaline in nature. They are hyaline type, whereas epiglottis is elastic fibrocartilage. Among the paired, apex of the arytenoid is elastic, whereas the remaining is hyaline. Corniculate and cuneiform are elastic in nature, and you can see the corniculate and cuneiform, they mainly act as a props for the holding the membranes of the larynx. Coming to the location here, you can see where the larynx is located. Larynx is located within the neck in front of laryngopharynx. It extends from the upper border of epiglottis to the lower border of cricoid cartilage. You can see that is a thyroid cartilage acting as a shield protecting the larynx from the anterior direction, and it has other cartilages also. If you isolate the larynx and see here, you can see it is a musculomembranous tube with cartilages. So, 3 components: muscle, membrane and cartilage. We will see in the reverse order. First we will see cartilage, then membranes, then muscles. You can see the laryngeal inlet there, and you can see the cartilaginous framework. The 3 cartilages are visible. The 3 unpaired cartilages. Paired cartilages are behind. They are located posteriorly and above the cricoid cartilage. And you can notice here the larynx is in front of C4, C5 and C6 vertebrae, that is in front of laryngopharynx, and it communicates with the laryngopharynx via laryngeal inlet. You can see between the vertebrae and larynx there will be laryngopharynx, the lower part of the pharynx. You can see there, that is the laryngopharynx, extending from the upper border of epiglottis to the lower border of cricoid cartilage. So extent of laryngopharynx and larynx is same, and larynx communicate with the laryngopharynx via laryngeal inlet. This highlighted part is laryngopharynx, what you can see here, and it communicates with the larynx via laryngeal inlet, which forms the upper part of its anterior wall. So you can see laryngeal inlet there, directed upwards and backwards. It is a slopy opening, directed upwards and backwards. And you can see in front the larynx is related to the hyoid bone, posterior to the laryngopharynx, and posterior to laryngopharynx C4, C5, C6 vertebrae. And when you see the cartilaginous framework here, it has 9 cartilages in total. When you disarticulate them, they will be visible like this. You can see the thyroid cartilage, shield like, incomplete, open posteriorly, and you can see the epiglottis cartilage, leaf like, leaf shaped epiglottis cartilage, and below you are seeing the ring like cricoid cartilage. This is cricoid, what you are seeing here. So epiglottis, thyroid and cricoid, they are unpaired cartilages, and here you will see arytenoid, pyramidal cartilage, cornicoid and cuneiform above it. Cornicoid and cuneiform mainly act as the props, and you can see the tritichial cartilage within the thyroid membrane, that is the tritichial cartilage. And coming to the thyroid cartilage, it acts like a shield. It has 2 lamina. Each lamina has 2 surface and 4 borders, and lamina meet and form the thyroid angle in the upper part, that is the thyroid notch. You can see there, this is the thyroid cartilage, isolated view, anterior border, posterior border, superior border and inferior border of 1 lamina. It has 2 lamina which are fused in front. These are the 4 borders and 2 surfaces. On the extreme left side you are seeing the outer surface, in the middle you are seeing the inner surface of thyroid cartilage. So when you see the upper border of 1 lamina, it is convexo-concave. You can see here the lower border is straight, then concave. So superior border is convexo-concave, the inferior border is straight, then concave, anterior border is fused here, and above it presents a thyroid notch. You can see V-shaped thyroid angle there. It is prominent in male, that's why it is called as Adam's apple, and thyroid angle is 90 degree in males, 120 in females, and posterior border is free, presenting the 2 horns, superior and inferior. Superior horn is attached to the hyoid bone via lateral thyrohyoid ligament, and the inferior horn articulates with the cricoid via cricothyroid joint, and posterior border gives attachment to the conjoint tendon of the longitudinal muscles of pharynx, that is salpingopharyngeus, stylophoryngeus and peltopharyngeus will come and attach here. And coming to the outer surface here, outer surface shows the oblique line which runs downwards and forwards and gives attachment to the infrahyoid muscles like sternothyroid and thyrohyoid muscles. Inferior constrictor muscles are attached to the outer surface, that is the oblique line, and here in this view you are seeing the outer surface, that is the outer surface of the thyroid lamina. The superior border is giving attachment to thyroid membrane, that is superior border, convexo-concave, thyrohyoid membrane, whereas the inferior border is giving attachment to the straight and oblique parts of the cricothyroid muscle. This is about the outer surface, and you can see the inner surface. Inner surface gives attachment to the in total 6 structures. You can see in the midline unpaired thyroepiglottic ligament, below that you will see paired vestibular ligaments, and below and medial to that you will see pair of vocal ligaments, and lateral to vocal ligaments you are seeing vocalis muscle, then thyroepiglotticus and thyroarytenoid. So these are the structures what you observe here on the inner surface. You can see the vocal ligament there, the thyroepiglotticus and thyroarytenoid muscles, and thyroepiglottic ligament which connects the epiglottis to the thyroid cartilage. So remember the names, they will tell the attachments. And when you see in the animation here, a shield like cartilage having two lamina, and it protects the larynx from the anterior direction, lies opposite to C4 and C5 vertebra there, and two lamina meet in front forming thyroid angle. You can see, if you see one thyroid lamina, it presents four borders, that is superior, anterior, inferior and posterior. You can see superior border and the two surface and four borders. When you see the superior border from behind, from anteroposteriorly, the anterior border is fused, superior border is convex to concave, inferior border is straight and then concave, posterior border is free, but it gives attachment to the conjoint tendon of the longitudinal muscles of pharynx, presenting superior horn and inferior horn. Superior horn attaches to the hyoid bone above by lateral thyrohyoid ligament, that is thyrohyoid membrane along the superior border, and it thickens in the middle, that is median thyrohyoid ligament, and along the superior horn it presents one more thickening, that is lateral thyrohyoid ligament, and it presents a foramina for internal laryngeal nerve and vessels. Internal laryngeal nerve is a branch of superior laryngeal nerve, and you can see the thyroid membrane attaches to above to the upper border, not the lower border, upper border of the epiglottis, and is separated from the body and gut corner of the hyoid versa, subhyoid versa, and the lower border of the thyroid cartilage gives attachment to the median and lateral cricothyroid ligament, a ligament between the hyoid and this thyroid and cricoid, and inside the posterior surface of the angle gives attachment to thyroepiglottic ligament. So this is about the borders. Now coming to surfaces, outer surface gives attachment to the following infrahyoid muscles and also constrictor muscles. The infrahyoid muscles are, one is sternothyroid muscle from the sternum to the oblique line, and from oblique line to hyoid is the thyrohyoid muscle, and just behind the oblique line, below and behind the oblique line, you will see thyropharyngeal part of inferior constrictor muscle. So inferior constrictor has two parts, thyropharyngeal and cricopharyngeal, and along the lower border you will see straight and oblique heads of the cricothyroid muscle coming from the outer surface of cricoid to the lower border of thyroid cartilage. And now when you see the inner surface, remember the attachment as a TTV, VVT. So from the above in the midline unpaired thyroepiglottic ligament, then you are seeing the thyroepiglotticus muscle there, just below and lateral, paired thyroepiglotticus and a pair of vestibular ligaments covered by mucous membrane called as vestibular folds below and medial to this one, thyroepiglotticus, and a pair of vocal folds below and medial to vestibular folds. And lateral to vestibular folds you are seeing pair of vocalis muscle, one on each side. Then lateral to vocalis you are seeing thyroarytenoid. So in the midline above, behind thyroid angle, thyroepiglottic ligament, below and lateral to that pair of thyroepiglotticus, below and medial to that vestibular fold, below and medial to that vocal fold, lateral to vocal fold, on each side vocalis muscle, and lateral to vocalis thyroarytenoid. So remember as TTV, VVT, these are the structures attached to the internal surface. Now you can have the view from the laryngeal inlet, how it is visible. You can see that is the laryngeal inlet, that is the R epiglottic fold containing the R epiglotticus muscle, that is thyroepiglotticus, what you are seeing there, highlighted part, and you are seeing the vestibular folds now, Vestibular fold, vocal fold. Vocal fold is upper thickened part of the cricovocal membrane. What is that? We'll see. So these are the structures attached to the internal surface of thyroid cartilage behind the fused anterior border of both the lamina. You can see vestibular folds, vocal folds, vocalis muscle, and lateral to that thyroarytenoid muscle. So remember them as a TTV, VVT. So, and here in the sagittal section you can see again. And coming to the epiglottis cartilage, it is a leaf shaped cartilage. It extends obliquely behind the tongue and hyoid bone. It has two ends, two surfaces, and two lateral margins. It is an unpaired cartilage, elastic in nature, and forms a part of laryngeal inlet. You can see upper end, lower end. It is placed obliquely there. You can see it has an anterior surface and posterior surface. That is the anterior surface related to the tongue, separated by a space called as vallecula. So base of tongue is separated from the upper end anterior surface of the epiglottis by vallecula, and the lower end is attached to thyroid cartilage by thyroepiglottic ligament. Posterior surface is free, covered by mucosa. Upper end, lower end, posterior surface, anterior surface, and two lateral margins. You are now seeing the sagittal section. And coming to the animation here, you can see it is the anterior surface, lower end, what you are seeing here. Upper end is there, that is the posterior surface, concave from side to side, covered by the mucosa. In the upper part it is lined by stratified squamous non-keratin epithelium. In the lower part of the posterior surface, the mucosa is lined by respiratory epithelium. Here you can see the upper end is free, forming the boundary of the laryngeal inlet. Upper end and upper part of the anterior surface is covered by the mucosa, and it is related to the base of tongue and attached to the base of tongue by the three folds, median and two lateral glossoepiglottic folds. Anterior surface is attached to the hyoid bone via hyoepiglottic ligament. You can see there hyoepiglottic ligament between the anterior surface of epiglottis and hyoid bone, and lower end is attached to the angle of the thyroid cartilage via thyroepiglottic ligament. Posterior surface is concave from side to side and covered by the mucosa. In the upper part it is stratified squamous non-keratin epithelium. In the lower part it is respiratory epithelium, and lateral margin gives adjustment to the R epiglottic fold, R epiglotticus muscle, and quadrate membrane. Quadrate membrane is a mucosal membrane covering the R epiglotticus, thyroepiglotticus, and part of thyroarytenoid muscles. And coming to the cricoid cartilage, it is also an unpaired cartilage, hyaline in nature, ring shaped. It is a complete cartilage, and it has a narrow anterior arch and a broad posterior lamina. You can see like a ring there, narrow anterior arch which runs downwards and forwards, broad posterior lamina. This is the anterior arch, what you are seeing, the arrow is showing, and this is the broad posterior lamina, anterior arch and posterior lamina. And you can see in this view here, compared to the ring structure, you can see the narrow anterior arch having a upper border, lower border, outer surface and inner surface. Upper border again has a inner lip and outer lip. You can see there upper border has two lips, inner and outer lips. That is the broad posterior lamina on which it shoulders the arytenoid cartilages, forming cricoarytenoid joint. You can see the structure there, and in this view you can see the narrow anterior arch, upper border having two lips. You can see inner lip, outer lip. It is very important to understand attachments of cricoid cartilage. And lower border is related to the trachea via cricotracheal ligament. The broad posterior lamina has a upper border which is dome shaped on each side with a central depressed part, just like diaphragm. On that dome shaped part, it has a facet for arytenoid cartilage, and it has a posterior surface, or you can say outer surface and inner surface. Outer surface forms the anterior wall of the laryngopharynx. Median ridge is there, covered by the pharyngeal mucosa, whereas the inner surface of the broad posterior lamina forms the laryngeal cavity, covered by respiratory mucosa. Whereas at the junction of narrow anterior arch and broad posterior lamina, you are seeing the facet for the inferior horn of thyroid cartilage to form cricothyroid joint. You can see that, and cricothyroid joint is very important landmark for recurrent laryngeal nerve. Recurrent laryngeal nerve enters into the larynx behind the cricothyroid joint. In this, here you can see the arch and attachments of the cricoid cartilage. The outer lip of the upper border gives attachment to the median and lateral cricothyroid ligament. Inner lip gives attachment to cricovocal membrane, and the broad lamina shoulders the arytenoid above. Inner surface forms the cavity, outer surface gives attachment to muscle and forms anterior wall, lower part of the anterior wall of the laryngopharynx. Upper part of the anterior wall of the laryngopharynx is open via laryngeal inlet into larynx. So now you can see here in the lateral view, posterior view, you can see epiglottis cartilage there forming a laryngeal inlet, that is the laryngeal inlet directed upwards and backwards, slopey, and below you are seeing the posterior lamina of cricoid and arytenoid above forming the lower part of anterior wall of laryngopharynx. So you can see here the cricoid cartilage, unpaired complete ring-like cartilage, also known as what? Foundation stone of larynx. It acts as a foundation stone on which the larynx is built or framed, you can say. When you see here, you are seeing the narrow anterior arch and a broad posterior lamina. You can see here the broad posterior lamina. When you see the narrow anterior arch, you can see it has upper border and a lower border, outer surface and inner surface. Upper border again has a outer lip and a inner lip, that is the arrow showing inner lip. So outer lip and inner lips are there, directed downwards and forwards like this slide, and here you are seeing inner surface and lower border of the narrow anterior arch and broad posterior lamina. Broad posterior lamina has again upper border, lower border, outer surface and inner surface. You can see the outer surface is showing a median ridge for the ligament of esophagus, and upper border shows two facets on either side for the arytenoid cartilages. Upper border is concavo-convex. Inner surface forms the laryngeal cavity. Outer surface forms the anterior wall of the laryngopharynx, covered by pharyngeal mucosa. Inner surface by the respiratory mucosa. And at the junction of the arch and lamina, you will see facet for the inferior horn of thyroid cartilage, that is forming cricothyroid joint, synovial joint. What is the importance of this joint? Behind this joint, the recurrent laryngeal nerve enters the larynx. That is the importance of this cricothyroid joint. So these are the parts of cricoid cartilage. So lower border and upper border of the anterior arch. Upper border has the inner lip and outer lip. You can see here the lower border of the narrow anterior arch of cricoid gives attachment to cricotracheal ligament, that is between the arch and trachea, that is cricotracheal ligament, whereas the outer surface of the narrow anterior arch of cricoid cartilage gives attachment to the oblique head and straight heads of the cricothyroid and also cricopharyngeal part of inferior constrictor. You can see thyropharyngeal part will come from the outer surface of thyroid cartilage, and from this surface cricopharyngeal part, outer lip of the upper border gives attachment to median, that is the median and pair of lateral cricothyroid ligament, and posteriorly on each side lateral cricoarytenoid muscle is attached to the outer lip of upper border of narrow anterior arch of cricoid. remember the attachment here, and you can see the ligaments and muscle. Lateral cricoarytenoid means it will come from cricoid to and goes and attached to the arytenoid, and you can see inner lip gives attachment to cricovocal membrane. That is cricoarytenoid muscle what you are seeing here, and the inner lip what you see here along the inner lip of the upper border of the narrow anterior arch, you are seeing cricovocal membrane. It is directed upwards and medially like an inverted cone, and upper thickened part of the cricovocal membrane forms vocal ligament. Vocal ligament, if covered by mucosa, is called as vocal fold or vocal cords, and the vibration of vocal fold will produce the voice. That's why larynx is known as voice box or organ of phonation. So this cricovocal membrane is very, very important. You can see here right and left cricovocal membrane runs upwards and medially, forming the inverted cone, and upper thickened part forms the vocal ligament, which are attached behind the arytenoid cartilage anterior to the inner surface of thyroid cartilage, that we have already seen in the attachments of thyroid cartilage, vocal folds and vocal ligaments. So if the vocal ligament is covered by mucosa, it is called as vocal fold, and the broad posterior lamina upper border gives articulation to arytenoid cartilage. Posterior surface has a median ridge. On either side of median ridge, you are seeing posterior cricoarytenoid muscle. From the narrow anterior arch, what you have seen? Lateral cricoarytenoid muscle. From the outer surface of posterior broad lamina, posterior cricoarytenoid muscle. And at a junction between the arch and lamina, you are seeing cricothyroid joint, facet for the cricothyroid joint. And the inner surface of the broad posterior lamina forms the part of laryngeal cavity lined by respiratory mucosa. And coming to the arytenoid cartilage, these are pyramidal in shape, has apex, base, 3 surfaces and 2 processes. And base rests on the upper border of broad posterior lamina of cricoid, one on each side. You can see on the left side you are seeing the arytenoid cartilage having the apex, base, vocal process and muscular process, and 3 surfaces: posterior, medial and anterolateral. Here you can see the laryngeal cavity view. Upper half is resembling the upper half of the hourglass structure, lower half resembles the lower half of the hourglass structure. You can see there in the constriction you will see a cavity there called as sinus of larynx between vestibular and vocal folds. What is that we will see. And you can see arytenoid cartilage, the apex attached to R epiglottic fold containing R epiglotticus muscle, and vocal process to the vocal fold. Above that you will see vestibular fold, and posteriorly the muscular process gives attachment to 3 muscles: oblique arytenoid, posterior cricoarytenoid and lateral cricoarytenoid. And the posterior surface gives attachment to transverse arytenoid. So the arytenoid cartilage may be small in size, but it has many attachments. You can see to the vocal process, vocal ligament and vocalis muscle, and to the muscular process, lateral cricoarytenoid, posterior cricoarytenoid and oblique arytenoid. And also you can see the vocal ligament is nothing but a thickened upper part of cricovocal membrane. That whitish structure is cricovocal membrane running upwards and medially. So you can see arytenoid cartilage is a paired pyramidal cartilage resting on the upper border of broad posterior lamina, having an apex where it gives attachment to conical corniculate ligament and prop-like cuneiform cartilages. This is vocal process. This is muscular process, and it presents this surface, that is posterior surface, medial surface and anterolateral surface. Anterolateral surface. So it resembles like a pointed shoes. The point of the shoe is vocal process, heel of the shoe is muscular process. You can see there it is giving articulation to the conical corniculate cartilages above. So these are the vocal process and muscular process. This is muscular process, apex. So posterior surface, the anterolateral surface, and medial surface. Medial surface forms the part of the laryngeal cavity, that you should remember. And coming to the attachments here, you can see along the vocal process, you will see the vocal folds. Above the vocal folds, you are seeing vestibular folds that we have already discussed in the internal surface of the third cartilage, and vocal process attached to the vocal folds, which are nothing but the upper thickened part of cricovocal membrane, which runs upwards and medially like the lower half of hourglass structure. Anterolateral surface gives attachment to thyroarytenoid muscle. And coming to the structure here, this is the right thyroarytenoid muscle, and apex to the R. epiglotticus muscle, and mucosa covering the R. epiglotticus muscle is R. epiglottic fold, forming the lateral wall of the laryngeal inlet. And here you can see the muscular process gives attachment to three muscles: posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, and oblique arytenoids. So three muscles have attachment to the muscular process: posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, and oblique arytenoid. And to the posterior surface, there is attachment of transverse arytenoid. So transverse arytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, and oblique arytenoid, they adduct the vocal folds, whereas posterior cricoarytenoid abducts the vocal folds. You can see again the structures, that is thyroarytenoid attached to anterior surface. This is lateral cricoarytenoid, posterior cricoarytenoid, oblique arytenoid, and this is transverse arytenoid, the only unpaired muscle of the larynx. Coming to the membranes, there are two membranes: upper quadrate membrane and lower cricovocal membrane. The quadrate membrane is named depending upon its shape. You can see it is roughly quadrilateral, having the superior border and anterior border. You can see the anterior border there, attachment. This is superior attachment of the quadrate membrane, and you can see there the upper part of the quadrate membrane is forming the R. epiglottic fold. R. epiglottic fold is nothing but the upper border of the quadrate membrane. Posterior border and inferior border. Inferior border is forming the vestibular fold. So inferior thickened part of the quadrate membrane is vestibular ligament, covered by mucosa is called as vestibular fold, whereas the upper thickened part of the cricovocal membrane is called as vocal ligament, covered by mucosa called as vocal fold. So you can see there the red colored areas above vestibular fold, below vocal folds. You can see in the sagittal section here, that is the anterior attachment of the quadrate membrane, inferiorly vestibular fold, posteriorly to the arytenoid, superiorly it is R. epiglottic fold. So this membrane is directed downwards and medially like the upper half of the hourglass. So if you take a section of the larynx in the coronal plane, it gives a hourglass structure. So upper half is quadrate membrane, lower half is cricovocal. You can see here, this is the quadrate membrane, giving you the rough idea. It is not exactly like this. It has four borders, but not like a rectangle here. You can see there, that is quadrate and cricovocal. Coming to the ligaments, the extrinsic ligaments are thyroid membrane, hyoepiglottic ligament, and cricotracheal ligaments. Thyroid membrane, again it gives a median thyroid ligament and lateral thyroid ligament. And you can see hyoepiglotticus ligament and cricotracheal. Intrinsic are R. epiglottic fold or R. epiglottic ligament, upper half of the quadrate membrane, upper border of the quadrate membrane, lower thickened part of the quadrate membrane is vestibular ligament, upper thickened part of the cricovocal is vocal ligament. You can see here. Now you are seeing the laryngeal inlet. Hope you can visualize or imagine the epiglottis here, covered by mucosa. That is the mucosa covering the epiglottis, and this is a laryngeal inlet. You can see here the entire ring-like structure. So here will be the quadrate membrane from the lateral margin of the epiglottis to the arytenoid. You can see there inferior border, anterior border, superior and posterior quadrate membrane on the left side, On the right side you are seeing that is the quadrate membrane, and between the quadrate membrane and lamina of third cartilage you are seeing pyriform fossa. This is laryngeal inlet. The arrow is showing laryngeal inlet. Hope you are having the visualization. Where is the epiglottis and all. And here you will see that is, this one is quadrate membrane directed downwards and medially. You can see anteriorly along the lateral border of the epiglottis. Inferiorly it forms vestibular fold, posteriorly attached to the arytenoid. Superiorly it forms R epiglottic fold with R epiglotticus muscle forming the lateral part of the laryngeal inlet. So superior border, you can see there is superior border R epiglottic fold, posterior inferior vestibular fold, anteriorly along the lateral margin of epiglottis. So epiglottis has two lateral margins that we have discussed already. So that is quadrate membrane. It is directed downwards and forwards like a cone, whereas cricocal is inverted cone. So here you are seeing cricocal membrane. It is like an inverted cone. It directed upwards and medially. Cricocal membrane anteriorly fuses with each other, inferiorly attached to the inner lip of the upper border of cricoid, and above it thickens to form vocal ligament. You can see the quadrate membrane there. The cricovocal membrane upper thickened part is vocal ligament. If it is covered with mucosa, it is called as vocal fold. And below and behind it attached to cricoid and arytenoid, cricovocal membrane. Hope you are getting the view here. So quadrate membrane covers the thyroepiglotticus muscle, part of thyroarytenoid and R epiglotticus muscle. Three muscles are beneath the membrane of this mucosa of the quadrate membrane, and between the vestibular fold and vocal fold you are seeing sinus of larynx. That is the sinus of larynx, what you are seeing, saccule or ventricle of larynx. So coming to the laryngeal inlet, so we discussed about two membranes, quadrate membrane and cricovocal. Coming to the laryngeal inlet, it is directed upwards and backwards, opens into the laryngeal part of the pharynx. You can see it here. It is slopy, directed upwards and backwards. That is the vestibular fold, what arrow is showing as vocal fold, pearly white structure. Between them, the sinus of larynx, that is pyriform fossa. That is the cavity of larynx continuing as trachea. So what are the boundaries of laryngeal inlet? Anterior is formed by the upper free end of epiglottis, and laterally by the R epiglottic folds, posteriorly and below by the arytenoid cartilage and interarytenoid fold. You can see there the arrow is showing interarytenoid fold and arytenoid cartilage. Laterally by the R epiglotticus folds. So anteriorly and posteriorly you are seeing anteriorly upper end of epiglottis. You are seeing the laryngeal inlet from posterior view, and laterally R epiglotticus fold. Posteriorly the arrow is showing now is vestibular fold and vocal fold. Between them, sinus of larynx. So that is about the laryngeal inlet. Laryngeal cavity, it extends from laryngeal inlet to the lower border of cricoid cartilage. It is hourglass in shape. You can see narrow region between the two vestibular folds is called as rima vestibuli. Vestibular folds are above and lateral to the vocal folds, and the region between the vocal folds is called as rima glottidis or rima glottis, we usually say. And laryngeal cavity is divided into three parts: supraglottic part, the part from the R epiglottic fold to vestibular fold, and part between the vestibular fold and vocal fold is called as the ventricle or sinus of larynx. Infraglottic part from the vocal fold to lower border of cricoid cartilage. You can see the supraglottic part on either side has the quadrate membrane, whereas the infraglottis has the cricovocal membrane on either side. You can see the vestibular part there, actions from inlet, that is R epiglottic fold to vestibular fold, and subglottis action from vocal fold to lower border of cricoid. Walls are formed by the cricovocal membrane and the arch of the cricoid cartilage. Anteriorly you will see cricothyroid ligament. So cricovocal membrane runs upwards and medially like an inverted cone, and the area between the small recess between the vestibular and vocal fold is called as sinus of larynx. It extends upwards and forwards between the vestibular fold and thyroid cartilage, also known as saccule. And coming to mucous membrane, entire mucus is lined by ciliated column epithelium. Vocal folds by stratified squamous epithelium, because vocal folds are required to vibrate for voice production or phonation, and also contains the laryngeal glands for lubrication of vocal folds in the saccule of larynx. Thank you for watching.